Hello everyone, I am Shagnik and welcome to Learn Your Flow. In this video, we will be discussing about insertion sort. So insertion sort is a simple sorting algorithm. This sorting algorithm works much more of the sorting we do in our daily life. Suppose you are given a bundle of your exam notebooks and you are asked to sort those notebooks in order of their every student's roll number. So how would you do? You take the first notebook, you just check the second notebook and bring it forward or leave it in his bag, depending on whether the notebook is in the the roll number is greater or smaller. So that's the thing you do, right? That's how you just sort. You just take the whole bundle and just keep on sorting one by one. You just go on checking one by one and see whether the sorting or whether you need to bring it forward or you need to bring the it backwards. We will discuss some more about insertion sort in this video. I will show you how this insertion sort works and also tell you about the complexity of insertion sort, the time complexity of insertion sort. So insertion sort is a less efficient on large list. Remember the fact, if you're given a huge list and you are given a large number of data to sort, and then in that case insertion sort takes a lot of time, and we'll just discuss how why this happens. So in case of insertion sort for large list, there comes other sorting algorithms like quick sort, heap sort, or merge sort. So these are the things we will discuss in somewhat next videos. So as of now, we'll start with the insertion sort. So in insertion sort, the array is virtually split into a sorted one and an unsorted one. How? Let's deep dive into the algorithm and understand how this works. First of all, we take the total length of the array. So we find that the length of the array is n. We are taking the length to be n, and we find the n is 5, right? So in our first run, what we do, we just consider that this part of the first element of the array is already sorted, right? So this part is already sorted, and we consider that the rest part of the whole array is an unsorted one. All right. So this is what we consider in our first run. Now, what we do in the next step. So this is a completely sorted array, and this is a unsorted array, right? This is what we think virtually. Remember, we actually don't split our array or create a different memory location to just store these two parts of the array. No, we don't do that, but we split it virtually. All right, moving on, what we do in the next step. In the next step, we just check whether 15 is less than the before element or not. All right. So I mean the first element in the unsorted array. So we take the first element in the unsorted array and check whether it's less than the sorted array, the last value of the sorted array or not. All right. Here, what we see in the first case, we find that 15 is less than 19. So what would happen if 15 is less than 19? So there requires a swap, right? We need to swap those elements. So we'll just take it out and we'll just take 19 to the second position and we just put 15 in the first place, right? So now what happened? Till now, what actually happens after the first run? After first run, after first run and before the second run, so what happens after first run and before the second run, we find that this is our sorted array and this is our unsorted array, right? So this is our unsorted array and this is our sorted array. So this is what we found after the first run. Now let's move on to the second run. So in the second run, this would again do what? It would consider the first element of the unsorted array. So there it comes 40. Okay. So when it finds 14, it checks with 19, right? It checks with 19. So it checks with 19. It finds 14 in this place. It checks with 19. It finds that 19 is greater than 14. So it shifts 19 to the place of 14. Then it checks it with 15. It finds that 15 is greater than 14. So it shifts 15. And then it finds that the last element is blank. So we just place 14 in this position. All right. So this is what happens in the second step, right? Further moving on to the third step, how will our array be considered here? So in the third step, at the beginning of the third step, this will be our sorted array. So this whole area will be our sorted array, and this area will be considered as our unsorted array, right? So this area will be considered sorted and this will be considered unsorted. Now, then it takes the first element of the unsorted array. So the first element of the unsorted array here is 5. So we'll just consider 5 at this place. It will check with 19. It will go check with 19, see that 5 is less than 19, or 5 is less than 19. So 19 needs to be shifted to the position of 5, right? So shift happen. Next is checks with 15. It finds that 15 is greater than 5. So this requires a shift, like 15 needs to be shift to one place, right? Then it checks 5 with 14 and it finds that 14 is also greater than 5. So 14 gets a shifted and ultimately there remains a blank space. So what happens? 5 goes to that blank space and acquires that space. All right. So this was our fourth run, right? This was the fourth run, the fourth check. Now, after the fourth check, what happens? At the end of our fourth check, so what actually happens, or what we are left with? We are left with that this position is our sorted array, and the rest of the position or the rest of the array elements are unsorted array, right? This is what happens after the fourth run. So we just run it for another one time, and what we see, this is our after the fourth run, this was there. Now we'll just run it another time. So now again it will find out the first element of the unsorted array. So the first element of the unsorted array is 6. It found the first element to be 6. Now we need to do, we need to just check 6 with the last element of the sorted array. So last element of the sorted array was 19. So 19 is greater than 6. So 19 gets a shift. Then we check with the second last element. We find 15 is greater than 6. So 15 gets a shift. Then we again check the third last element of the unsorted array, and we find the 14 is greater than 6. So we shift 14 again. And the last time 6 gets this value, or the 6, we check it with 5 and we find out that 5 is less than 6. So 6 gets inserted at this position. All right. So this is how the whole insertion sort algorithm works. Now you need to note something, that at the end of the fifth run, our whole array got sorted, right? This was what we found out at the end of the whole run. Now, what if we try to implement this in a Python code, right? We try to implement this. So let's implement and figure it out how we can do this. All right. So here is a Python code for us, and we are taking a function called insertion sort. We are taking our whole array within that function. So in that function, we just take our array and run our sorting function. Now how it works? Look, first of all, we just run a for loop, and this for loop was the turn. I was counting. You remember I was counting some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that was the thing we were doing with the help of this I variable. And this I variable runs from 1 till the length of the array. So length of the array is 5. So I value runs from 1 till 4. Remember that I value runs from 1 till 4. Now let's see how this for loops works. So in the for loop, we take this key, a variable called key, and it stored the array element or the position of the array element in it. Now look, if I just move this back to the original one that was there. All right, so this was our initial array. Remember, this was an initial array elements and this was given to us for sorting. Now let's understand how this Python implementation works on this. So in the first place, we are taking an variable called key and we are assigning it to the array of position I. So initially, I is 1, right? I is 1. So initially I is 1. So we are assigning array of 1. So array position 1 is going to the key. So key value becomes actually 15 in our case, right? In the given example, like the example I'm taking here. So key value is 15 here. Now what we are doing, we are assigning j to be I minus 1. So we are assigning j to be 0, right? I minus 1 is what? I minus 1 is 0. All right, so this is the step we did. So key is 15. We found j to be 0 and we run a for loop of I from 1 till the length of the array. So length of the array here is 5, right? So length of the array is 5 and the range would go from 1 till 4. All right, next move on to this final statement, that this statement and that does the whole of the insertion sort. So what it says, we're just running a while loop and we're taking two conditions here. So in the while loop, we're just considering that the j value should be greater than 0. All right, you can say that yes, the initial value of j is 0, then how can it be less than 0? No, this can be less than 0. We'll just check how this may happen inside the while loop. We just explain that part a bit later. So we are considering that j should be like we're running a while loop for like while j greater than equals 0, and this should valid, and what should be valid, this key value should be less than array of j. So array of j, so j is 0, array of j is 19, right? So array of j in the first place is 19. The first run, like when I is 1, in the first run array of j is 19. So what happens here? Array of j is 19, key value is 15, so we are considering the key is less than 19 and the j should be greater than equal to 0. So j is 0. So we would move into this while loop. So what it says, the array of j plus 1. So array of j is 0, j is 0, so j plus 1 is 1. So array of j plus 1 is actually the 15. We are assigning array of j to array of j plus 1. So after this statement, after we come to this statement and execute this statement, our array will look something like this. We considered key here to be, that's our key value, right? That's our key value we considered as 15. And here what we want to do, we will after this statement we say array of j plus 1, we are assigning array of j, we are assigning array of j. So what is array of j? Array of j was 19 and we are assigning that to our array of j plus 1. We are assigning the array of j plus 1. Remember, in between this step, or where okay, we assigned this value here. Now you may say, then what happens to array of j right now? In between this step, like in here, if you just print what's array of j, you will still find 19. Why so? We are just assigning 15 or 19 to array of j plus 1. So we are not erasing these values. So whatever value of 19 was here initially, right? So we are just keeping that value. So we're just keeping that value. We're not removing that value. So 19 is So 19 is here also, right? So we just, that's why we just shifted it with a value called key. So we just stored this value on a key variable, right? Now we are doing j minus equal to 1. So what j minus equal to 1? So j value is currently 0. J is standing at 0, and we are doing j minus equal to 1. So j becomes minus 1 at this statement. At this statement, j becomes minus 1. Now we'll just go to the while loop again. So we are just breaking out of the while loop since j is not greater than equal to 0. Then we'll come across this statement, array of j plus 1 is key. So array of j plus 1 is key. So what happens? Key was 15 and array of j plus 1. So j value is currently minus 1, right? So j is currently minus 1. So we are doing j plus 1. So that becomes 0. Now after j plus 1, the value of j is considered to be 0, and we are storing key to it. So what was the key? Key was 15. So we are just storing 15 to this position. Now when we store 15 to this position, what we are left with? So if we again print uh, array of 0, then what would happen? This 19 won't get printed, 15 would now printed after we ran this statement. After we went through this statement, 15 would get printed. All right. So this was the working of the first step, and after the first run, when I was 1, this part of the array got sorted, right? That was the working I was discussing with you all. This part of the array got sorted. So in the similar way, we'll just look into this once more. Let me just erase this all. All right, let's now look. Remember that this was our sorted array. All right, this was a sorted array and rest was unsorted. Now that was our mental thinking, right? I told you that this sorted array thing is completely our mental thinking. We're just considering mentally, but not in our code. Even in our code you can see that, but we are not explicitly saying that we are breaking the array. No, that was that. This was completely mental thinking. Let's see how the next step works. For in the next step, I value becomes 2. So a value of I, or value of I becomes 2, right? I becomes 2. So what we'll say, array of 2 is 14, right? So key value, the value of key becomes 14. So what are we actually doing here? We're just storing a copy of this, we're just storing a copy of this value at key. All right, we just stored a copy of this value at with the value key. Now we have our next step. So what's our next step? J is I minus 1. So I is 2. Our value of j is 1. J is I minus 1. So j, the first value of j becomes 1. Now we'll just move into this while statement. In the while statement, we found j is greater than or equal to 0. Yes, j is 1 and j is greater than or equal to 0, definitely. Now we see that this 14 is less than array of j. So what was array of j? J is 1 and array of j is 19, right? Array of j is 19 for us. So j is 1 and array of j is 19 for us. Now what? So array of j is 19. So this stands true that key is less than 14. So this stands true and this statement stands true. So we move into the while loop. All right. So in the while loop, we find array of j plus 1. What was the value of j? 1. So array of j plus 1, we are just storing in array of 2, we are just storing array of j. So what we are doing in this statement, when we execute this statement, we're just storing a copy of 19 to in its next position, that is area of 2, area position 2. Now we just in the next step we just shift this j to be minus 1. What is the value of j we have here? We have 1, and we are doing j to be minus 1. So j minus 1 becomes 0, right? J minus 1 becomes 0. Now, we need to do something more. We will again go to the while loop since we didn't find any break condition for the while loop. Now we'll again move into the while loop. We'll see that j is greater than equal to 0. Yes, j is 0 and it's greater than equal to 0. And what's the key value? 14. What's the array of j? So array of j is 0. Array of j here is 15, right? So we find, yes, again it's true that key is less than array of j. So again we move to this statement. So our array of j plus 1, so array of 0 plus 1 is 1. We're just storing 15 is equal to array of j. So we're just storing a copy of 15 into array of j. So what is array of j? Array of j was no, we are just copying from the array of j. So array of j was 0, so array of j was 15. A copy is moved to array of j plus 1. So j plus 1 was 1, and we shifted a value to this position. Now we again decrement the value of j. So value of j is again decremented. So the value of j is again decremented, and what we have done here, so what we find after the decrementation, so after value of j is again decremented, so it becomes minus 1. So when it becomes minus 1, it comes out of this while loop and we execute this statement. So once we execute this statement, so what we do here, so array of j plus 1, in array of j plus 1 we just stored the value of key. So what is the value of key? Value of key was 14, so we just copy this to the value of array of j plus 1. So array of j is minus 1 and j plus 1 becomes 0, so we just do it here. So the similar way the whole program runs again and again and again. The whole for loop, this whole for loop runs for the 4 times in an array of length 5. So this for loop runs, and after that our whole array becomes sorted. This is how an insertion sort algorithm works, right? I hope I could make you guys understand how an insertion sort algorithm works. All right, let's look into its let's look into its time complexity. So the time complexity of insertion sort is order of n square. Why is it order of n square? Look, for order of n square, like it's so simply, if you just look into why it's coming as order of n square, not going through some typical methods to find it out why it's order of n square. Look here, in the for a first loop, so here we can find it's a nested loop. So we first encounter a for loop, and we find out that this for loop works for n minus 1 number of times, right? And so from 1 till length of array, so it runs for 1 minus 1 number of times. Now how many times this while loop runs? This while loop runs for n number of times. Why? Look here. What's the maximum condition that can go for this while loop? When we are just executing this 6, or we're just at the last position and we need to shift it again and again and again to just find out ultimately which value, like which one terminates first. So in that case we need to check till a large number of value, right? We are considering it till n. So that was the this two are the determining factor. If you just multiply these two, you just find the preceding factor is n squared, so you'll just find an n square out of there. So the order, like the time complexity of this insertion sort is order of n square. Okay, so the boundary cases, if you just consider boundary cases of this insertion sort algorithm, you can find out that insertion sort takes a maximum time uh, if the array are sorted in reverse order. Just consider if the array is already sorted in the reverse order, then it takes the maximum time. That's what I was telling you, that it would run for n minus 1 times and this would run for n times at the maximum case. So then the order, the time complexity would come as n square. So that's the worst case complexity of insertion sort. And it takes the minimum time is when if the elements are already sorted. If the elements are already sorted, still it would run for n times. Why? So in that case, this while loop won't run anytime, and this for loop will still run for n number of times. So in that case, our insertion sort works for n times. So this is the whole explanation of an insertion sort. That hope you guys understood, or I can clear you clear it to you how insertion sort works. So in the next video we'll talk about some more sorting algorithm. If you haven't watched my previous data structure and algorithm classes, then go through them. I'll put the links in the description. Go through them once, you'll find it interesting. If you as always, so make sure you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends so that they can get benefited as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope to see you soon in my next video.